So at President Trump's trial, they were talking about how he might end up in jail. Is Rikers prepared for that? Have you guys had those discussions yet?
Our amazing commissioner, she is prepared for whatever comes on Rikers Island. I'm pretty sure she would be prepared to manage and deal with the situation as you see what's happening with Harvey Weinstein.
You haven't had those discussions with corrections about that situation?
Telling the world that the Rikers Island jail is ready, willing, and able to take on Donald Trump and incarcerate him is but one of those reasons. You just heard Mayor Eric Adams of New York asked during a media availability today whether the Rikers Island jail and the commissioner related to it were ready for Donald Trump should Judge Merchan make good on his threat, which I think we moved out of threat into soon-to-be reality, that if Donald Trump violates his orders one more time, if he doesn't follow the gag order and tries to intimidate witnesses or jurors or anything like it, he's going to have to be put in jail. The judge wasn't joking. Just the other day, the judge, during a hearing, said to him, and I quote, Mr. Trump, this is the Judge Merchan, as you know, the prosecution has filed 3 separate motions to find you in criminal contempt. It appears that the $1,000 fines, which are the limit under the judiciary law of what New York judges can use at their disposal to fine someone. So for those people that are wringing their hands going, $1,000 for a guy like Trump, right? Even Judge Merchan in a recent ruling in this case said, for somebody like you, $75,000, $100,000. I just don't have that ability, that power, that inherent authority is not given to me. It's limited by the judiciary law to $1,000. I don't know, it's some old-timey period where $1,000 meant something. But the judge went on and says, it appears that the $1,000 fines are not a deterrent to you. The last thing I want to do is put you in jail. You are the former president of the United States and possibly the next president as well. But at the end of the day, I have a job to do. And part of that job is to protect the dignity of the judicial system. And the judge went on to say, I cannot allow your direct attacks on the rule of law to continue. So as much as I do not want to impose a jail sanction, use the J word, I want you to understand that I will if necessary and appropriate. Now, fast forward, I've already reported in a prior hot take that the Secret Service is already in discussions with Rikers Island, apparently, and whatever other local jail, there's an actual jail in the courthouse that can be used as well. Because if Donald Trump goes to jail, even for a day or 2 or hours, or whatever, Secret Service goes to jail too. He's not just the judge is not just sending Trump to jail, he's sending the Secret Service contingent with him into jail because regardless of your feelings about him, he's a former president and he's a guy running for president and he needs protection from a general population in the jail, especially at Rikers Island. But I love Eric Adams. Let's listen to him closely again.
So at President Trump's trial, they were talking about how he might end up in jail. Is Rikers prepared for that? Have you guys had those discussions yet?
Our amazing commissioner, she is prepared for whatever comes on Rikers Island. I'm pretty sure she would be prepared to manage and deal with the situation as you see what's happening with Harvey Weinstein.
You haven't had those discussions with corrections about that situation?
Yeah.
There, he says, they're professionals, meaning the people on Rikers Island. They'll be ready. And like I said, there's already been discussions with the Secret Service and Rikers Island about this because they have eyes and ears. They see how dangerously close Donald Trump is to getting himself jailed for contempt on one of these counts. And what Eric Adams said is, as it relates to the commissioner responsible for Rikers Island, because on the city council, there are different commissioners who have different remits, different things that they're responsible for. And Adams, as you heard, said, our amazing commissioner, he's referring to Linnell McGinley Liddy, she's prepared for whatever comes on Rikers Island. I'm pretty sure she'll be prepared to manage and deal with the situation. As you see what's happening with Harvey Weinstein, we have to adjust. I love how he glides into a direct comparison of Donald Trump and Harvey Weinstein. Well, let's hope what happened in New York to Harvey Weinstein doesn't happen to Donald Trump, which is that there was reversible error related to certain evidence that was admitted, giving rise to a reversal of his conviction. We don't want that to happen. I think that was the concern today, just to mention it as an aside, that an uncontrollable Stormy Daniels, while fun to listen to, was verging dangerously close to bringing in not only impertinent, irrelevant information, but even prejudicial information, suggesting that Donald Trump was a sex offender. Now, we know he is one, because he was adjudged that way by the E. Jean Carroll jury. But that's not something for this jury, and you don't want to blow their minds literally with reversible error by allowing that. There's ways around that. I'm actually surprised the prosecutors didn't use it. And the main prosecutor who is leading it today, who's a very, very accomplished lawyer, when I've had situations where I've lost control of a witness and I'm dangerously close to maybe causing a mistrial, you got to go to plan B. And plan B is you treat the witness like a hostile witness and you make sure they answer yes or no questions in cross-examination format. That's what you do. But that's not where we are. Where we are now is a jail readying itself for the arrival of one Donald J. Trump, who's not only he's on thin ice. 10 violations of the gag order. The judge already telling him that money doesn't seem to be the answer. $1,000 is too little. I'm going to have to do something about it. We're going to have to talk about incarceration. Donald Trump, of course, is both concerned by it and actually turned on by going to jail. He's a weird dude. He's looking forward to using the martyrdom that comes with jail time to raise more money. And so the judge got to balance, let's be honest, he's got to balance that as well. Adams went on to say in that clip I played, in this business, particularly around law enforcement, note to our audience, Eric Adams is a longtime member of New York City's finest, Men in Blue, the men and women in blue, the police department. He said, in this business, particularly around law enforcement, we have to adjust whatever comes our way. But we don't want to deal with the hypothetical, but they're professionals. They'll be ready for Trump. I love New York. It's a city that never sleeps, even on the rights of a accused Donald Trump, and are not going to sleep and drop the ball on how to incarcerate him if Judge Rashan so orders that. And let me just talk through process. What happens next? Today, as I did in another hot take, the judge used the C word against Donald Trump, contempt. He said, you're huffing and puffing and cursing audibly that the jury can hear when Stormy Daniels testifies against you. I understand it's embarrassing, but you're intimidating the jury potentially and the witness. And it's contemptuous or contumacious. It's a contempt, meaning you're violating my criminal orders. Now, Todd Blanche, his lawyer, during the sidebar with the judge says, I understand. I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him. Of course, he talked to him. Nothing happened. Donald Trump went out in the hallway to give one of his ridiculous press conferences where he attacks the judge, the system, and everything else. But that's already, we're not even at 3 strikes. Donald Trump is at, by my count, as of today, 11 strikes. I'm not sure what baseball game we're playing, but we moved into bowling. He's now got 11 strikes against him. The judge has had it. He's used a jail word, an incarceration word 6 times over the last month, including this week. He's told Donald Trump in no uncertain terms, fines don't seem to make you exercise self-restraint. I'm going to have to come up with something else, which is why we go from the hypothetical, conjectural, I wonder what it'd be like for Donald Trump in jail, to how dangerously close is Donald Trump about going to jail? And he is. If we're using a football, continue like some sort of sports metaphor, he's on the half-yard line. He's going to punch it in and go to jail. It's not going to be touchdown. It's going to be jackpot. And Donald Trump's going to find himself in it. Better be packing his toothbrush along with all his hair and self-tanning products when he heads into court. Because that's where he's going. I don't know if it's the one in the back of the courthouse, because, every criminal court has its own jail. Or if they're going to actually load him up and take him, I guess, through Secret Service and the Beast, or in some sort of SUV to Rikers Island, and then process him like any other common criminal. Fingerprint. He doesn't get to wear his toupee either. I don't mean to be mean, but he doesn't get to wear his toupee in jail either. So he's either going to have to leave that thing glued on, whatever's on top of him, or he's going to be taking it off. And we're going to be seeing some photos related to that under public disclosure. And then, right next to him, it'd be like a suite. Right next to him is going to be a whole bunch of not that happy Secret Service officers, Secret Service agents. But the city is thinking about it. We're starting to bargain about how to jail Donald Trump, not if we can jail Donald Trump. And to those that are supportive of our criminal justice system and our constitutional democracy, that's music to our ears. Not because I want to see a guy jailed for not doing anything, but I want to see a person jailed for thumbing his nose at my criminal justice system that I work in, every day, and have worked in since I graduated law school. And I don't care what, I know the judge wanted to do a little bit of acknowledgement. He was president, could be president again. I get it, but you're in my courtroom, my rules. I'm wearing the rope, and he's got to continue to do that. Or we'll just, you think it's bad today with him pounding the table and rolling his eyes and cursing out loud for the jury to hear about Stormy Daniels. He's acted out a lot. Jeff McConney basically slit his throat. I'm talking about Donald Trump's throat as his former controller, his financial insider, about things that he said in front of the jury that are just devastatingly terrible for Donald Trump. But Donald Trump, of course, whistling past the graveyard as McConney came off the stand. Fist bump, big smile. Wants the jury to think nothing to see here. I like that testimony. That was good testimony. He's not supposed to do that either. He's not supposed to bolster the testimony of anybody. He's not supposed to diminish it or intimidate it. He's supposed to be neutral. He's not supposed to be an actor, like affecting the outcome by how he acts at counsel table, at the defense table. People are surprised that Michael Cohen secretly recorded Donald Trump, and they're becoming major bombshell evidence in the trial. I don't know why. We've been talking about Michael Cohen and his secretly recorded conversations with Donald Trump, which are at the heart of the criminal case against Donald Trump, for a year and a half. It's not even secret information that we got because Michael Cohen happens to be on our network. It's been public. We know for a fact it was listed by the prosecutors before trial started, when they had to disclose to the other side, the Trump side, all of the evidence that they were going to use against them at trial. That's over a year old. I was doing hot takes on that in 2023. And as we get closer to trial, they updated that list. Prosecutors have an obligation under our criminal justice system to inform the defendants of every piece of evidence they have in their possession, inculpatory, exculpatory, tending to prove guilt, tending to prove innocence, whatever it is. And they listed the Michael Cohen audio recordings a long time ago. I know mainstream media, is just waking up and going, the Cohen tapes. Yes, the Michael Cohen tapes. We joked that he brought the receipts. He's got the receipts. He's had the gift receipts for a long time against Donald Trump, particularly at the heart of the conspiracy. What am I talking about? Just one of several were already played for the jury in the New York criminal trial. I'm going to talk about it from a trial lawyer's perspective about the impact of that kind of audio evidence being played on a jury. Now, we like to say, and the jury will be instructed by the judge, that all evidence sort of has equal quality. All evidence sort of has equal weight. It could be circumstantial, it could be inferential, it could be documentary, it could be audio, it could be video. It's all by the judge instructs the jury as the trier of fact that you're to weigh the credibility of the evidence, you're to weigh the evidence. If it's a witness testimony, you're to weigh the credibility of witnesses, but it's all kind of the same weight as you put weights on a scale, right? The scales start balanced at trial, especially in a criminal trial where the person is presumed to be innocent. And then as evidence comes in to meet the prosecutor's beyond a reasonable doubt burden, the scale should tip one way or the other. For beyond a reasonable doubt, it has to tip substantially. But just because all evidence is of equal quality and equal weight, if you will, it doesn't mean it has the same impact on the jury. Let me repeat. Different types of evidence have different impacts on the jury, even if they're told to weigh them the same. Audio testimony, video testimony, right? A surveillance camera, a drone camera. In this case, a secretly recorded audio conversation between Michael Cohen and Donald Trump, the defendant, is going to get the jury's attention. They won't be able to think of anything else. It changes the weather in the room. From a trial lawyer. When I have an audio tape or a videotape on my side, I'm so excited in trial. I can't wait to play it. I may even play it in the opening statement just to orient the jury. If I have an audio or video evidence or clip on the other side of me, I worry about it. I worry about how to take the sting away from that piece of evidence. I may even do that in the opening statement in order to normalize it for the jury before they actually hear it. You know who didn't do any of that? Todd Blanche, the lawyer for Donald Trump. He didn't talk about the secret recordings really at all. He only spent 20 minutes talking to the jury. There's been a lot of talk that in the insider camp of whatever that is of Donald Trump, that Trump's pissed off at his lawyers. They're not aggressive enough. He has to literally, physically push them to stand up and make objections. He's trying to be his own strategist, because he's so successful at trial work. right? 0-70 in the election interference cases, lost every case that matters in the last at least 3 years, and more dating back 4 years, 3 times bankrupt. This is the guy you want to take legal strategy from if you're a practicing attorney, no doubt. It's a ticket to losing your law license. I'll just leave it at that.